Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear portal. I'm Atlas Opia and I help people expand their interdimensional knowledge. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to integrate your galactic essence as a starseed in a human body by understanding how to reprogram each one of the human functionalities: your mind, body, emotions, inner child. Now, initially, in order for reality to exist, there needs to be different components of the system that work in harmony. So in this case, you have the expansion of information compressing down to make solid matter. And so I'll be diving into the idea that there is a time and place to be in the expansive or the solidified and compressed state in each of the human functionalities. And the expansive state is usually a representation of your own feminine energy, and the compressed, solidified state, that grounding form, is usually a representation of your masculine energy. So before I get into, I want to extend a bridge out to you, an invitation to dive into the realm of consciousness with a new pair of eyes and understand interdimensional energy and the way the universe works in a very exciting and inventive fashion. So consider subscribing to my channel and check out the rest of my videos, because truly what I'm here to do is break the mold in what has been, because without creative expansion in any marketplace, we are not actually seeing where our evolutionary species can go if we're just standing in one place. So now, as I go into this, I want to give you more insight into the universe and how it works. So initially, as you're aware of, everything comes from source energy, and that exists in the 13th dimension. Now in that realm, the energy is somewhat like a stem cell. It can become anything, but it doesn't have a particular purpose. Now, what gives a pure form of consciousness, the magical building blocks of this universe, a job and a direction in what to be, is placing a code into that energy. So once you take pure energy, you use language to decide what that energy is going to be. In that place, there is an expansive state because there is no constriction or particular box in what anything is. All you have is ingredients. And then from that point, it goes down through each dimension and compresses in unique ways until it becomes solid matter. And that information is in the dimension you wish to experience it in, depending on the reincarnation you're in this time around, right? So I'm going to go over each of the human functionalities in its expansive feminine state and its compressed, solidified masculine state, and when to be in either one. Because sometimes we're living in this realm where all of these moving parts are circulating around us, and when we can organize our own energy system and know how to communicate with specific parts depending on what we need in any given situation, we're making a greater use of each intelligent part of our system, because we know how each layer works and when to put yourself in certain positions. So for the mind, the feminine expansive state of the mind is for you in any given task to forget who you are, the boundaries at which that task exists in, to go beyond any vocabulary, and to almost place yourself in the universe as a free-flowing state of consciousness, which is what you were before you became. a human before you had this name. You are pure consciousness, and you are composed of all the ingredients in the universe. When you're in this particular state, you can see the complete form of a creative task or an objective during work or when you're pushing yourself. But because you're not comprised of a particular state, because you're not limiting yourself, you can gather different resources and energies from different parts of the universe in a free state because you're outside of that box. Now, if you approach a task already in a structure, you're only gathering the information that was previously in that structure, or how you did that task before, or how somebody else did it. Right? Now, the compressed state, the masculine state of the mind, the more solidified approach to this mechanism that is your cerebral glass window that is in between your soul and this reality and how you interact with it, is you getting to decide the new connections of neuroplasticity which exist in your mind depending on the timeline you're moving into. The truth is, as we move through life, we have emotionalized experiences in certain areas of reality. An area could be business, it could be finances, health, relationships. Every experience we have in a subject convinces our mind that this subject will give us that energy again. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start to realize that your mind is not your enemy. It is not against you. It is a tool that just decides what something means to you. Okay? So then you start to play with this and go, okay, depending on the timeline you're moving into, a certain object in your environment will have a meaning based on the timeline you're in. So you think about already achieving something, already moving through something difficult, already getting to where you want to go. And then you look at everything in your environment and you see how each thing was a stepping stone to get you to that point, how you used each aspect of your pre-existing environment based on that timeline. Now to move into the body, right? The expansive state, which represents the feminine energy inside of you when looking at your own body or experiencing it, is something we're all very familiar of. It is that airy, free-flowing place of consciousness where we're free from the idea that we need to achieve something or be something in order to accept ourselves or be deserving of love. We're allowing ourselves to just experience different aspects of our own life in the world outside of positive or negative, so we don't feel like our entire life is this rubric on how to put more points into the positive side than the negative side, right? Now, the more expansive position is great to be in when you want to free yourself from who you've been or what the world has told you you need to do or how you have to spend your life. But to be there permanently can put you in a place where you're existing without a container, where you don't have structure and organization in your power, whether that be in a metaphysical sense or from a creative sense, or even creating resources for yourself. So from that condensed, solidified, masculine point of view, the body is you feeling the solidification of energy all around you as each object is very solid and you're experiencing it with your five senses. That's kind of that approach to the body, is you're just feeling the condensed, solidified state of your body. It's allowing you to be still and move away from that high octave energetic plane because you don't have to be there all the time. You can slow it down a bit. So now when we're going to the emotions, The expansive feminine state is you giving yourself permission to experience every emotion entirely because you know it is your system's response to an experience. And that emotion is coming up again because you may have just been looking at an emotion as a means to an end, meaning, what is the emotion trying to tell me and how can I move past it? If your shadow emotions were a person and all you wanted to do was use that person for your own benefit, how will the person feel? That can be sometimes how that shadow inside of you feels. It just wants to be accepted. Allow yourself to feel whatever you need to without judgment or an idea of when's it going to stop, because that is the experience of consciousness, is being curious about those places and re-perceiving the idea of the effects it has in your body and appreciating that it means you're reactive to the world. Now, the condensed masculine state of your emotional body is deciding in any given moment what emotion would complement that situation. Depending on if you're doing a creative project or if you're around certain environments, every time we're trying to achieve a task, there's usually this voice in our head of like, man, I really need to feel like this, but I don't feel like this. And how do you solve that is by understanding you can summon that emotional frequency. You can remember a memory where you feel a certain emotion, and you can then understand that whenever you feel an energetic code, you can then unlock it in your system to summon that energetic code again without the need for something happening to trigger that code in the first place. Remind yourself that about emotions. Now, for understanding how you can reprogram the inner child, first examine the word itself, right? Lean into what you felt as a child. Was there an atmosphere of acceptance and freedom and safety? And so, as we move into how to approach the reprogramming of your inner child, start to feel this warm sensation around your heart. Because as we move through this, I want you to feel connected to that part of you that has not been seen or accepted or loved unconditionally. Now, from the feminine point of view, the expansive understanding of the inner child, I want you to lend yourself to the element of wind and water. Sometimes when we're growing up, we feel like we have to be perfect or appear a certain way. So then we'll get noticed and we'll be shown love and we'll be accepted. So the feminine aspect of the inner child is knowing that you don't have to be like everybody else to fit in, to be accepted. You don't have to be perfect so you're worthy of love or somebody else can be receptive to showing you love. You don't need to be anybody or achieve anything in order for you to value your own presence. It is just you existing in this body as a soul, looking around and seeing how this entire reality is constructed and the magic behind it. It's the simplicity of your own presence, the acceptance, the freedom. Now, the masculine, more compressed approach to the inner child, the more solidified feeling that your inner child needs to feel so you can actually lean into the world without this protective layer on, and you can be in your true heartfelt center through each task and activity, is realizing that it is a choice to decide that the universe and your soul has presented every situation in front of you as a means to get you to where you want to go, not because you're being punished for not being good or positive or perfect, right? It's as safety that can overcome your body when you feel like your body is strong enough to hold your soul and expand to be able to bring in the energy of a higher dimension that you're tapping into through your starseed encounters. Your body will adapt. The world will adapt to give you padding. People will appear to give you support. Entertain that idea. And the last thing I want to say is, if you enjoyed this video, definitely like it and share it to somebody who could also benefit from these teachings and this unique perspective. And if you've gone through something similar, or you have something else on your mind or your heart, please share it in the comments, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And the other thing I wanted to say is, if you have been drawn to the word starseed and you know that there is another layer of understanding and power and magic that has been waiting for you, but you feel as if the tools that are set up for you in the world are based on energy that is less powerful, and you feel out of place, I want you to know that I'm here for you. I've showed up on this planet, and part of my mission is to reinvent magic, to give starseeds a collection of skills that can allow them to truly operate on this planet with more joy, more fun, and more access to the influence they have over matter itself and energy in the quantum field. To take you beyond the idea that being a starseed is just knowing if you're a Pleiadian or an Arcturian or having the name of who you are, but realizing that I want to connect you to your highest dimensional reincarnation. The magic you used in that timeline, the purpose you held, the mission you were on, and allow you to merge that wisdom and technology and data and code into your DNA and teach you skills that are based on unique functionalities that your soul can hold. Each skill is a unique way you can influence the quantum field based on doing a particular action in your imagination, and I can activate that skill in your system. I'm here to break the mold of what has been and to give you access to who you can be, because sometimes we just need more organization to this intensity we have, and a reason to use it, and an understanding on how to. But I'm here to work with people that are serious and committed and have patience and are willing to dive into the intensity, knowing that I can support you along the way. This is not a band-aid or a quick fix. And anybody who tells you that doesn't have the whole process laid out in an articulate fashion for the engineering of your soul to come into your body and for this actually to take place. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you if you're the next person I'm supposed to help. And I'm so looking forward to surprising you with each skill I teach you, and to lighting up your soul and making your heart feel warm and giving you that access to the next level. We are the inventors. We are the innovators. We have to start somewhere. And if you feel curious about that, book your first free session in the video description, and we can see if the quantum field is aligned and if quantum entanglement is working in our favor to align us perfectly where we need to be. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.